It's time for Maggie and the Moms, where we celebrate but never sugarcoat parenting. Joining us today for our Moms panel is Lauren Gay. She is the mother of a son, and she is also an adventure travel blogger. Look at this. She gets to go places like the Azores. Goals. You can follow her on Outdoorsy Diva on Instagram for inspiration. Welcome, Lauren. Margaret Zakarian is back with us as well. She is a businesswoman, a producer, and the mother of 3 children, including the Zakarian sisters, who co-wrote this cookbook, The Family That Cooks Together. And Natasha Prose, a mother of 2 boys, whose blog is Prose and Company, and it talks all about the mom life, which we all know and love. All right, ladies, thank you for being here. Our first topic is a saucy one. There is, I'm sure you have all heard, you probably have as well, about this elite private school in Manhattan where there is an uproar among some parents over a video that was shown to first graders. It's a video that talks about sex ed. They don't mention intercourse, but it does address self-pleasure. It talks about how it feels good. It's okay to do it as long as you're alone and in private. These are 6 and 7-year-olds watching this cartoon video about that topic. Apparently also the issue of consent was discussed, and they were told, children, no one is allowed to touch you without your permission. That includes your parents and your grandparents. A lot of people are up in arms. I'm so curious to hear your opinion, Lauren.
Yeah, I watched the video, and it has some good things, right, about, labeling body parts, by their name and talking about some of those things. But I think the approach was not right. Something like that, the parents absolutely should have been seen as a partner. It's something that they should have been able to view ahead of time and to opt in or out of, to decide if, this was something that they were ready to have with their children. And even it could have helped some parents who may have struggled with how to broach the topic. I know it's something I struggled with as a single parent, having a boy, so it's not the most comfortable thing, but I didn't have so much of a problem with what was addressed in the video, but the approach wasn't right. It should have absolutely been able to something that parents could opt in or out of and let them see it first.
Yeah, what was your take, Margaret?
I think too, this year has been so tumultuous that I think the communication with the parents has somehow gotten broken in these schools, and I think the buy-in from the parents ahead of time is really important, and that kind of like slows down the uproar, parade. But, also this year, curriculums have changed very quickly in places where, the curriculums are very studied, and you can't just make quick, rash changes to things, and really taking into account what's age appropriate and what's not, I think, is very important. And I think, in addition, you have to really find an environment that fits your family's values.
Yes.
Right? So it's not saying it's good or bad.
Exactly.
But if it doesn't fit with what your family feels comfortable with, and that's where the curriculums come in. So you review those ahead, and but when things are getting changed so fast, it's hard to do that, hard to manage that, I think, as a family, when things are coming home from school that you're just sort of blindsided by.
What do you think?
Absolutely agree. I think the parents definitely should have been clued in. I think having had the ability to opt in or out on whether or not this was going to be presented to my child, to be blindsided, I think is a huge fault on their part. I do think age appropriate 6 and 7-year-olds, I don't know. I would have been a very unhappy parent myself. I do think that has to be a part of the conversation with mom and dad, with your family. I think it opens up a good dialogue, but whether or not it was appropriate to surprise families, talk about this with this particular age, I would not have been a very happy parent myself.
It's a conversation that parents put, at least my husband and I, put so much thought into.
Absolutely.
It's so strategic, so thoughtful, so planned. It's my job. It's not your job. So if you want to, and I agree, yes, I want kids to learn about consent sooner. I want them to grow up knowing that they should feel okay about their bodies and know and ask questions about their bodies, explore their bodies. Yes, but I'm the one who has to dictate the tone of those conversations. If you would like to address it, let me know, like you've all said. I think my daughter was in 6th grade when her school sent out an email, 6th grade, and said, heads up, we're going to be talking to the kids about this on this day, you don't have to send your kid to school, or if you want to have a conversation ahead of time, we're letting you know that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Right?
Or this is
Appropriate
why we think it's the right age.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
So I can understand the uproar. You know, I certainly would have felt the same way.
For sure.
All right, topic number 2. We promised last week, we had an unofficial start of summer edition of Maggie and the Moms, and we promised to share summer fun ideas with all of you moms out there. So it begins today. Let's go. Let's start with Natasha. What was your summer fun activity? Name one that you like to do with your family.
Okay, so we just went to Kennedy Space Center and had an overnight adventure with our family. We actually went with our scout pack, and this was incredible, an incredible experience. We actually got to sleep underneath the Atlantis Space Shuttle.
Cool.
We got to bring one bag per person, but we brought our air mattresses to be a little bit more comfortable. But I have to say, it was truly a unique experience. My boys are obsessed with space, and I have a little guy that wants to be an engineer. So just the fact that they got to sleep under this space shuttle was amazing.
So cool. What's one of your favorite things, Margaret?
so we love going to Anna Maria and to the beach there. It's so close
beautiful, yeah.
from Tampa. It's like an hour drive, and you don't even have to spend the night. You can just drive there,
Look at that
enjoy
photo.
the sunset, pack a little picnic dinner, and come home. It's great.
And George got to see a lot of cool wildlife.
And it's filled with wildlife there. It was really just plentiful, and they were very friendly, as you can see there in that photo.
I love Anna Maria because you can do a day trip.
Yeah.
You know, you could stay or you can come back. And I love that Tampa Bay has so many places like that. Now, the authority on places to go and things to do.
Yeah, so right here in Oldsmar, just up the road, you can zip line at Empower Adventures. So this is something my
looks
son
so
and I
fun.
actually were able to do last summer during the pandemic, because it's outside, it's distance, you did have to wear your mask. So now that's probably going to be a little lax because it's hot. So zip lining in the mask was not so fun, but you should do it. It's an aerial course. They've got like 3,000 feet of zip lines, and it's over a wildlife preserve. So it's like a view of Tampa you don't see very often.
So cool.
Love that.
We discovered a place during the pandemic as well. Last summer, we discovered Hillsborough River State Park, and that's where these pictures are from. This was last summer.
Love
It is the most beautiful place. I mean, there are gorgeous bridges where you can take lots of pretty pictures, hiking trails. You feel like you're in the mountains in the Carolinas. It's like a live oak hammock, and they have rapids. I mean, I'm not talking about whitewater rafting, but those little peaceful, placid rapids that make that sound, you do not feel like you're in Tampa Bay. And it's only, I think, like 23 miles from here. We're in downtown Tampa, so
Yeah.
like 30
It's
minutes.
one of my
You see any
favorite
gators?
parks.
It's one of your favorites?
Yes.
Oh, I almost feel like I don't want to tell people about it, but go. It's worth it. It's fantastic. Okay, we have time to spin the wheel. I'm so happy because it's one of our favorite things to do, Lauren. I know it's your first time, so we spin, we spin, we spin. Mom hacks is what it landed on first. So let's start with Lauren. What is your mom hack?
Mom hacks. This is actually one, thankfully, I don't have to do anymore because my son's older, but glitter. If they're doing projects and glitter gets everywhere and you can't get it, you can use a lint roller.
A lint.
Oh,
Lint roller.
genius.
Get the oversized lint rollers
good
like
one.
used for pet hair. Gets all the glitter up very
Phenomenal.
easily.
Bravo, bravo.
That's a good
that's huge. That's amazing.
Do you have one?
Mine's a virtual one. So I'm really bad at meditating or trying to meditate. So I've been following this Instagram. It's called Casper's Focus. And he's all about breath work. And it's just like a quick reminder of a few little things. And I've been much more successful at that. And it's a good way for moms to just read what he has to say, can pick up a few tips on breathing, and move
What's
on with
the
your day.
account again?
Casper's Focus with a K.
Casper. Got it.
like that.
Thank you.
That is a good one. Well, I utilize my notepad in my phone for just about everything. The kids have something at school, I have to jot it down. It's unlikely that you find a pencil and a pen nearby. So I'd use my notepad for everything. I forget all the time. And I started doing this when the boys were little, to write down things that they were saying little funny things that they would pronounce funny. And so I used it kind of like a journal, but also to remember, because moms forget everything.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm going to give you a hack that is inspired by a viral TikTok video right now. Have you guys seen this? It's a grandma, and she takes off, so she drives her grandson around, or granddaughter, I can't remember. She takes off one sandal and she puts it in the back seat by the car seat, so that when she gets out of the car, she's missing a shoe. She remembers, my grandchild is in the back seat, so she doesn't forget, because car deaths are a very huge problem. So she's been criticized because some people say, oh, you should never drive barefoot. So I say, fine, leave your purse back there, leave something back there that you need, so you don't forget your kid in the car. I kind of like it.
I like it too.
I like that a lot, actually.
Right? I think it's good. All right, let's go to spin number 2. This one is fill in the blanks. I don't think any of you have ever done this one. I give you a sentence, you fill in the blank, pretend you're talking to your children. We'll start with Natasha. There is no shame in blank.
Having manners.
Ooh.
Having manners. It's always going to be appreciated. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, thank you. No, thank you. And I'm known to kind of stand around and, you wanted something to drink? What? Oh, please, Mom. Okay.
I know. I stare down my kids, like my son, when he doesn't say thank you, I'm like, same thing. It's just a look and they know what you mean, right?
They totally get it and they remember, but manners are so important.
They are. So what about you, Margaret? There's no shame in?
There is no shame in singing along to the radio in the car.
Yes! I like that one too.
I think those old songs from the 90s, they are mortified.
No shame. Do it with pride.
Yeah. And join Mom.
And join Mom, yeah.
There's no shame in failure. We put so much pressure on our kids to be perfect, and it's just unrealistic. Let them know that it's okay to mess up. Be honest with them when you mess up, when you fail at something, so that if they don't do something quite right, they understand that I can just try again, and it may, lead me to learn something from the experience. We've had a lot of that. In raising an older child, you definitely have to be transparent about mistakes.
That is fantastic. We are out of time. A quick one for me. There's no shame in saying no to important things and little things. Flex that muscle. It feels good to be assertive, and there's no shame in, saying what you expect and what you want. All right, ladies, you are great. And we invite you all, them, you, everyone, send us your summer fun ideas. Email me at daytime@wfla.com or direct message me on Instagram, Maggie Rodriguez TV, so we can share your ideas here on Maggie and the Moms. Daytime, we'll be right back.